I'm excited to be here this morning. My face might not be saying it, but I'm really excited to be here. I was speaking with the curator of the event, and I told him I was an attendee in 2016. But it was very hard for him to believe because I had no data. I don't have any data. I'm just here this morning telling you guys with word of mouth. And I hope you guys will believe me. You guys believe me, right? That is to show that I do not own any data from the event. Maybe there are snippets from the event. Yeah, this is the snippet from the event. But it doesn't show my face. And that is one of the major problems we have in the world today. The issue of data ownership. We do not own our data. We have a lot of data on public platforms, on tech platforms, but do we own any of this? We don't. Before we can define what Web3 is, or before we know what Web3 is, we need to know where we are right now. Web3 is the next generation of the internet. So, but where are we right now? The next generation of the internet that will be built on decentralization, transparency, and user data ownership. Just like I said earlier, I do not own any data. I don't have any data to prove my story. The current state of the internet is what we call Web2. We are all familiar with Facebook, with Google, with LinkedIn, with Twitter, and Instagram. We all use all these platforms very well. So these platforms, they operate on their modus operandi is that we sign up on these platforms, and they give us a space, which is our login and username. But whenever we are off this platform, our data can be used for what we don't know. Our data can be manipulated. In 2018, Cambridge Analytica they were accused, or they were actually alleged, it was alleged that they used millions of people's data on Facebook. Their data were used to manipulate result of election of 2016. That is to show that data in the hands of wrong people is very, very crazy. But here am I don't own any of my data. Even in FUTMinna, my data is in the school's website and database, but I do not own any of this. What if someone comes up tomorrow, he hacks the system, and we are all doomed? We are very, very comfortable with doing things like this, and it's the order of the day. Aside from the ethical use of data, data is very economical. It has a lot of economical worth. The estimated amount of worth ascribed to data online is about 10 trillion US dollars. So where is all this money going to? If my data is online, people are making money from my data. When I mean people, I mean tech giants. I mean Facebook. I mean LinkedIn. They are making money from my data. So why don't I own any of my data? Because it's economical, and they are not paying me for it. They are not paying me for using their platform. So what happens? Aside from being economical and also the ethical aspect of data security and ownership is very essential to our livelihood. But like I said earlier, Twitter, Facebook, we are all comfortable with it until something happens. I want you to see Web3 as the opposite of the structure we have right now, where we have centralized systems and everyone is in control. No one is in control, actually, but it seems everyone is in control. So Web3 is the opposite of Web2. It gives everyone ownership to their data. You can decide how you want to use your data. You can decide when you want to use your data. You can decide to withdraw your data from their database at your leisure. That is the power of Web3. If Web3 is actually very, very essential to the way we'll be doing things in the future, are there applications being built on Web3? What are the trends that we are seeing currently in Web3? How many of us know Brave browser here? We've used Brave, okay. So this is what happens with Brave browser. We have the likes of Mozilla and we have Chrome. But on Brave browser, they pays you to use their platform just by searching and making research on their platform. The way you normally use Chrome and Mozilla. Brave browser would pay you in tokens that can be traded. So this is an example that we can all relate with at the moment. If you are good users of Brave platform, you would know this. Aside from that usage, Let me tell you a story of my friend, Minna. We finished from FE2 together. He studied construction engineering. So he had always had a dream to become a real estate investor. But as a young school leaver, the economical barrier for him to enter the real estate sector is so high. Actually, you need a couple of millions before you can do anything good in the real estate sector. So Kingsley had to suspend his dream of becoming a real estate investor immediately he finished school. But fortunately for him, after several years, he was able to come into the industry when he had a lot of savings to invest. But what could have happened in Web3? It would have been earlier and easier for him in Web3 through what I call tokenization of real-world assets. Don't forget that Web3 is based on decentralization, blockchain technology, and user data ownership. This is what happens in real-world tokenization of real-world assets. A whole building like where we are right now, which is an entity in the real estate sector, can be tokenized and documented on the blockchain. That means we can document this all on the blockchain. Then we can sell the fragments of this all. So I do not have the whole money to buy the building, but I can buy in fragments. I can buy, let's say, this store. I can buy the entrance, and we can have a lot of investors coming together and pulling money together in a very transparent way. Tokenization of real-world assets makes it very transparent for you. Every transaction you are making, every investment you make is being documented on-chain, and you can see all of this. So you can decide to hold your assets, you can decide to do anything, but the most interesting part of it is that you can come in at a very low barrier. You can, as a student, you can come in with your savings. I'm not saying you should put your savings there. Make sure you invest what you can lose. So you can come in and invest at a very, very low barrier. On the long run, you don't have to wait 10 years. You don't have to wait for 15 years before you get into the real estate sector. So that is an aspect of real-world tokenization of assets. Another aspect of blockchain and Web3 is what I call open finance. We are in school right now. We all want to make a living. We want to make our lives better. We want to invest and to get rich, right? But all of this, we can't do it without having a solid financial background, because finance is the bedrock of our lives. Savings, investments, even credit, they are all bedrock of our lives, and they are what people leverage on. Businessmen, we've heard the stories of Dangote. He was loaned about some millions by his family member. So he was able to leverage on that and improve his business. Now he's the richest man in Africa. So we all need all these credit facilities, but do we trust the system for them to do this to us? An average person cannot get a loan from the banks. But in DeFi, it is an open sector where anybody can go to and acquire loans. You can save in a very decentralized way. I know it's very, very interesting for us that we have the likes of PalmPay and OP right now. Speaking at the student level, we can take quick loans from PalmPay, from OP. But all of these platforms, what do they do with our data? Has anybody ever witnessed harassment from PalmPay? If you don't pay them, they start calling your parents, start calling your people. In some extreme cases, they lock your phones. You can't do other things. But in DeFi, which is open banking, open finance, you can get instant loans in a very transparent way. Definitely, you have to provide collateral. You can't run away with people's money. I do not support that. So, your data is safe in DeFi. It is, like I said, it's an open platform where people get instant loans. And by doing so, you can attend to your needs. If you have a small business, if you want to pay school fees, you can do that within minutes. So this is like an improvement to the current structure that we have right now. When I was in school, 2012, thank God I have someone here who we stayed in the same room together for some time. So he knows my friend, he knows my classmates. We're always playing games as architecture students. I mean, GK is boring, right? GK is still very boring. we've always been saying our social lives is almost zero. So one of the things we tried to do was to always play games. We play FIFA, Pro Evolution Soccer, and all that. I know most of us here will all play games, even the women amongst us, Candy Crush and all that. But gaming is now more than just catching fun. It's much more than the instant release of dopamine. People make living out of gaming. Let me tell you a story of a guy called Fredo. So Fredo is a professional gamer. He plays games for a living. But his girlfriend didn't understand what was happening. So she was just like, "You're too attached to this gaming thing. What's going on?" So one morning she woke up and she deleted the game. The guy lost about 400,000 US dollars. That's a life-changing money for an average person. An average American is looking for $1 million to retire. The guy lost 400,000 just because the girlfriend was ignorant. The guy plays a game on what we call Web2 platforms. Like I said, they are centralized platforms. Once you lose your data, you can't retrieve it. So there's almost nothing you could do to regain that back. But in Web3, everything is decentralized. You own your data, your proceeds, the level you are. If you are very familiar with games here, you know that there are things we call digital collectibles. So digital collectibles are like your special weapon, temple run, your special characters, your skin, and other things. All of these things can be very monetized. And that was what Fredo lost, because he could actually trade all of those things. But in Web3, it's an open platform. You can retrieve all of these things back. Even if you decide to leave gaming right now, if I decide to leave social media right now and come back after 1 year, definitely I will miss my data there. But what will happen if Instagram just goes off? I don't have the data. But if Fredo had left the gaming platform for a year or 6 months, and he comes back, but because he has recovery phrase, he will get back to the level he was, to the same state he was, and nothing will be lost. So he played games on Web2 platform and he lost a lot of money. Now he has to start from scratch. So this is made possible by what we call NFTs. I know we all know NFTs. We all want to mint the next NFT that will do 1,000x and all that. The full meaning of NFT is non-fungible token. They are customized to each user. You can't have the same token. You can't have the same NFT as me because they are all unique. So they create unique experiences for each individual players. And with this, nobody can take what doesn't belong to them. So NFTs they are changing the way digital collectibles work. It is said that an estimated amount of $100 billion US dollars is being traded on digital collectible in the whole world. So this is to show that the gaming platform is booming. And as students, we can also pick up careers in gaming. We can become game developers. We can become content streamers. We can play games for other people to see and make incomes from that. If Web3 is decentralized, we know that in common organizations like the school, like the banks, there's someone at the top, someone calling the shots. We have bankers, we have regional managers. In the school here, we have VCs and we have the whole admin block. So who calls the shots in Web3, since it's a decentralized and everybody can be part of the platform? So Web3 is governed by what we call DAOs. So the full meaning is decentralized autonomous organization. So they are governed by smart contracts. Technically smart contract, but I'm not going to bore you with the technical aspects. So what DAOs are is that you, me, we can be part of the governance. The way we are seated right now, I know the organizers of this event, they were the ones that curated the event and they selected the speakers. But in the real sense, do we know that we speakers, we might not really represent what the audience wants to hear? So in real life application, we'll create a DAO for TEDx event, FUTMinna. Then we'll make everybody here part of the governance team. So you guys will propose who you want. You are going to vote. And at the end, the speakers that make it to the final list, they will represent who the people want and what exactly they want to hear. So we can use DAOs in any place that we would want to have transparency and we want to have the real value for what people want. We can use it in government. We can even use it for our elections. Once you put something on the blockchain, it cannot be changed. So election rigging is almost impossible. I know school politics too. There could be a lot of malpractices. So we can create a DAO for something like that. And a lot of other things. Web3 is not a series of isolated trends. In essence, they are all connected. It is an integrated ecosystem where we can have several applications of what happens in our daily life. We can have applications in medicine. We can have applications in insurance and also record keeping. From history, all early innovators of great technologies, they turn out to become the greatest beneficiary of those technologies, both financially and strategically. So I'm charging everyone here today to take position, and we can all create the new way for these technological advancements. There's a common saying in Web3 which says WAGMI. It means we all gonna make it. And I definitely believe we all can make it together. Thank you.